Hi guys, what's going on and welcome to Pagan Online. So, since the game has just hit early access, I thought it would be a good time to do sort of a very brief getting started guide. Since I've been playing this game back since the first trials quite a long time ago now, and kind of understand most of the starting characters, how the basic game works, what the Pantheon is like, I just thought I'd produce sort of this very quick video just pointing out a few things that may be useful to you. So when you first log into the game, you'll basically get a choice of 3 characters out of the possible 8 that there are to unlock, but you can only pick 3 as your starting characters. One is Kinwich, the other is Anya, and then we've got Istok on the end. And they kind of have fairly different playstyles. This one, Kinwich, is kind of, he's a melee, it calls him a berserker in strength. He's kind of a middle of the road between a tank and mobility. It has pretty good damaging abilities, reasonable sort of armor and protection, but he's not quite a tank. He's not as strong as, say, Istok here on the end, who has most of his abilities focused towards strength. You know, he's got his invulnerability shield, things like this. This guy's most of abilities, like he's got things that do dash. I think this is on his dash ability. He can move around, makes him to move around to dodge attacks really quite quickly, and causing damage that way. So his focus is around sort of mobility as well as damage. Then you say if you look at Anya in the middle. Now her abilities, while they call her a ranged character, which is kind of true, she uses a whip. So it's really a melee weapon, but it's a melee weapon which has a lot of range to it. So in many ways it kind of plays like a ranged character, or she kind of plays like a ranged character. And a lot of her abilities are around sucking health from the enemies. So I think if we look at some of her abilities here, sends a huge blood-sucking bat, inflicts damage, and heals her for every enemy hit. Dash through enemies and leech health from them. So a lot of her abilities revolve around sort of leech lifing, stealing hit points from the enemies, which kind of makes it good. Combined with the range abilities, make it a pretty nice class. But when it comes into trouble, when she comes into trouble, as soon as you get cornered, as soon as something goes wrong, your health will diminish super quickly, and you don't really have a get-out clause, kind of in the same way that someone like Istok does. Obviously, with Istok being the final badass tank. Now, this guy is all about strength. He's the tank. He's the true tough nut to crack. He's not fast. He's not clever. No special abilities. But he's really hard to break. He has things like his shielding ability, the Shield of Righteous, which gives temporary invulnerability. It's hugely useful. If things go wrong, you can quickly activate that invulnerability. And when you're fighting bosses, you can activate that when they start to use some of their more powerful abilities. So for me, I think Istok is one of the more powerful classes, but I think Anya and Kinwich are also very fun as well. So it kind of depends, just kind of want to suit your playstyle. But it's also worth pointing out, no matter which one you pick, you can unlock the other 2. So you're not committing yourself permanently to one character. You can play all 8 characters once you've got them unlocked. So for me, I'm going to play Istok. If I haven't, I think I was probably fairly biased in that initial description. So I'm going to go with Istok. So let's hop into the Pantheon. Once you've picked your character, you'll be basically flung into this combat tutorial, which basically takes you through some of the initial story of the game and kind of just teaches you a little bit about using your abilities, dodging certain things, shield on, previous comics, and how to deal with some of the more troublesome enemies. So here we go, it's telling me how to cast spells. I'll throw my hammer, which was rather effective. I can then use things like my Fury spell to cast damage there.
Now, you
Shield
know
up
the hammer
right
blow.
here with these guys, and easily cuts all these guys down if I want to throw a hammer at them. That was quite effective. We can cause absolute chaos. You go away. Well, there's one behind you, isn't there? Throw a hammer at him. Definitely my favourite ability. And we can even have a giant fist.
blow.
Oh no, we can't. Not got enough mana. No. Now we can have a giant fist. Giant fist. So this is basically just a quick tutorial. Just play through this and then you'll end up in the Pantheon. But make sure to follow what it tells you because it is worth learning about the various chaos, casting spells, abilities and how it all works. So once you've finished the tutorial, which maybe you've now done, I don't want to kind of spoil that for you, you will load into what's called the Pantheon. And this is kind of like the world in which the gods live and in which your character will come to do crafting, to visit the vendors, to start various quests, to talk to characters, etc. And where you'll find other people, like there's a guy here, currently on the same iteration. There are multiple servers so that not everyone is crammed into one tiny little Pantheon, otherwise it would just be absolute chaos. But when you first log in, you'll find that most of the stuff isn't unlocked. You can kind of see from the icons, for example, over here is the shop, the vendor. Oh, there we go, it tells you. But you have to get so far along the quests before you unlock these various aspects. You'll also find, I think over on this side, you'll find the crafting. Yes, the crafting over here, but first you have to unlock the craft box, and then the skill trees over here as well, where you can expand your abilities, learn different skills, etc, etc. And you'll also find that in the starting levels you won't have all of your hero abilities unlocked. Not an error, it's not a bug, it's just because you've not yet leveled up enough. As you level up more and more, you'll find that you unlock more abilities. It shouldn't take you that long to start to get quite a few things unlocked, so you'll soon be in and running with this game. So at this point, the only option you got is the Battle Gate. This is where you play the campaign, you pick which quest you want to do, you select your difficulties, etc. You can just press R to interact with this, or you can click it up at the top of the screen, and you'll basically find the map where your various acts are. And you can see all the acts down the side, acts through 1 through 8. And then each act is obviously broken down into a series of sort of sub-campaigns, and from there you can kind of pick and choose the different missions that you want to play. Obviously the first one for me, Igman Must Not Fall. We can select that. There's no currently challenges for this one. You can find a little bit of lore about the various enemies you're going to be facing. Obviously we're pretty low in level in this at the moment, so it's not really a problem. You can see the leaderboards of how much toughness and glory people, or might is, and see what each got on each level. And then you can pretty much hop into the mission, and it should load you into your first quest, which, depending on how good your computer is, will determine how long it takes to load. Not too long. There we go, well optimized. And that will basically lead you into your first mission. And from there, you should be able to capitalize on sort of the things you learned in the tutorial. You know, you should now know how to move, how to attack, how to use spells and things like that. And then you should be able to move forward. There's just one last thing I'll show you as we move forward. Hopefully we'll encounter just an enemy where I can show you this. There we go. We kill these guys and you shall see. Hopefully we should get some loot. And you'll see kind of how this works. It's pretty interesting. Of course, we've not got any abilities. You still have your shield ability. There's no consequence to using your shield ability, by the way, with this time. It's actually pretty much never ending. As soon as it recharges, you can use it again. It doesn't really use any mana. Well worth using all the time. Okay, there we go. We've killed those group of enemies and we've got a little bit of a very minimal amount. We've got a health potion, which we can carry a maximum of 9 of, and a little bit of gold. It's worth getting. And if you smash boxes, you get a bit more gold like that. And that's pretty much all I'm going to give you today in today's video. I just wanted this to be a really short little introduction, mostly talking about the characters and just how you get into your first quest in case you have any problems. But other than that, the old man who follows you around and persists in talking to you, often to points of annoyance, will do a very good job of pointing you in the right direction. So thank you for watching, guys, and I hope I shall see you all on the next Pagan Online video.